The African sun was high, bathing the vast, endless savanna in a brilliant, coppery light. The scene was both majestic and silent, broken only by the rustling wind through the dry grass. Dr. Evelyn Reed, shielded by a wide-brimmed hat, focused her gaze on the dusty track ahead. In her 10 years at the Mavumo Wildlife Rescue Center, she had grown intimately familiar with nature's rules. Absolute beauty came with uncompromising harshness. This job demanded not only medical skill, but also silent dedication, accepting risk every single day. Her white rescue vehicle rolled slowly, nearing the end of a long patrol shift. Evelyn allowed herself a moment of relaxation, believing that, for today, everything would remain peaceful. But in the wild, fate often dances to its own rhythm. Suddenly, a massive, orange-yellow shadow fell across the road ahead. It was a fully grown male lion, its thick mane gleaming copper in the sun, stepping right into the middle of the track. "Stop," Evelyn exclaimed. Her partner slammed the brakes. The tires screeched once, then fell silent. Both held their breath, anticipating the aggressive reaction they had come to expect. However, instead of roaring or charging, the lion did the unthinkable. It slowly rose onto its hind legs, its colossal body trembling slightly, and pressed its two front paws together, aiming them directly at Evelyn. The gesture carried a desperate, urgent plea, shattering every rule she knew about this predator. Its amber gold eyes locked onto hers, conveying a silent but powerful message that melted away all her defenses. In the wild, a roar is a sign of danger. But sometimes, a desperate and silent plea is the sign of a life in peril. Evelyn's seasoned partner gripped the steering wheel, his voice rough with tension. "Evelyn, you can't go out there. Rules are rules. We never leave the vehicle with a lion nearby, especially a large male." His warning was correct. It was the first lesson anyone working in this environment had to internalize. Yet, Evelyn, despite her trembling hands, felt something profoundly different. Her primal fear was overridden by a fierce intuition. The lion's eyes, she mentally named him Leo, showed no hunger or rage, only confusion and an earnest appeal. Evelyn took a deep breath, looking straight at her partner. "Don't you see what I see? He's not threatening us. He's asking for help. I have to see what's going on." She reached for her compact field medical kit, her actions slow and deliberate. She reiterated her conviction over the radio. "My gut tells me that if we ignore this moment, we'll miss a chance to save a life." She slowly opened the car door. The small metal squeak echoed in the stillness. The blazing midday sun poured down on her shoulders, bringing with it the scent of dry earth and dust. Evelyn stepped down, her heavy boots sinking lightly into the soft ground. She could feel the eerie silence of the wilderness. Leo remained there, waiting, yet his muscles were visibly tensed from patience and stress. When Evelyn took another step, Leo turned unhurriedly and began striding towards the dense, dry scrub to the right of the road. He walked at a slow, steady pace, constantly turning his head back to check on Evelyn, ensuring she was following. Evelyn began her journey, trailing this extraordinary guide, maintaining a respectful and safe distance. She reminded herself that she was putting her trust in a creature whose only instinct she should be trusting was its predatory one. They covered several hundred meters. Evelyn later recounted her feeling. She was deep in the wild, without cover, led by a king of the jungle. Every step was an internal battle between logic and instinct. Leo's gentle persistence, the way he occasionally glanced back with urgency, kept Evelyn going. He never walked too fast, always ensuring she could keep up, as if he knew she was the only hope. This moment was not just about rescue, but about building trust between two vastly different worlds. After a few tense minutes of moving deeper into the bush, Leo abruptly stopped. He stood motionless near a gnarled, old acacia tree, his eyes hyper-focused on a single spot in the shade. Evelyn felt her heart rate accelerate. She carefully pushed the thorny branches aside and saw the scene, that had prompted Leo's desperate plea. Under the tree canopy, a man lay face down, almost blending into the color of the dry earth. Beside him, a patrol radio hissed with static.
Guy.
It was Ranger Kai, one of the senior park rangers. His face was ashen, motionless, and unresponsive. Evelyn immediately set aside all fear of the lion, switching to absolute professional mode. She knelt beside Ranger Kai, her fingers quickly searching for a pulse in his neck. It was extremely weak, almost imperceptible. She instantly recognized the danger signs. Kai's lips were slightly blue, his chest barely moving. A severe cardiac arrest, likely from overexertion in the intense heat. Cardiac arrest, Evelyn whispered, quickly conducting a check and affixing the emergency oxygen mask. She picked up the radio, her voice decisive yet maintaining an unnerving calm.
Control.
This is Reed. Urgent backup requested, highest priority. Ranger down, cardiac arrest, off-road near the large acacia tree. Need gurney and defibrillator immediately. While Evelyn worked, Leo did not leave. He formed a protective perimeter, not interfering, but emitting soft, worried rumbles. Every time Evelyn had to use force for a chest compression on Ranger Kai, Leo would dip his head closer, as if urging her to hurry, to press harder. That moment clearly showed Evelyn the animal's intelligence and understanding of the emergency. He hadn't just brought her here. He was supervising the rescue process. In that moment, confronting death under the scorching sun, Evelyn had a profound realization. This was not a lion leading her to its prey. It was a creature leading her to its friend in distress. She silently whispered a word of thanks to Leo just before she heard the distant sound of the backup vehicle approaching. Her task now was to keep Kai alive until the support team arrived. Just minutes after the emergency call, the sound of the backup vehicle's engine shattered the stillness of the bush. Evelyn's partner, Mark, along with other medical personnel, quickly reached the scene. The coordination was swift and professional. They gently placed Ranger Kai onto the gurney, carefully navigating the rugged terrain back to the vehicle waiting on the track. Throughout this process, Leo remained a watchful shadow. He backed up slightly, but his eyes never left Kai, ensuring these strangers would not harm his benefactor. Once Kai was safely secured in the rear compartment, the vehicle door slammed shut. The ambulance siren blared, tearing through the midday air. The vehicle sped off at the highest possible speed on the dusty road, heading towards the medical center. However, what happened next astonished everyone witnessing it. Leo did not return to the bush. He started running. The colossal male lion, its golden mane streaming and muscles rippling under the sun, chased the ambulance. Leo maintained an incredible pace, his powerful strides persistently keeping alongside the vehicle. Red dust billowed behind, but the lion remained a golden highlight, resolutely completing its escort mission. It seemed he wouldn't trust Kai's life to anyone else until he was completely safe. It was an unforgettable image of absolute dedication and strength, a Savanna king racing alongside a vehicle to protect his friend. Upon reaching the gates of the Mavumo Wildlife Medical Center, Kai was rushed into surgery. The emergency room doors closed. Leo, covered in dust and panting, made no attempt to enter. He stopped at the outer fence, knelt, and sat waiting, his eyes still fixed on the building. Inside, Evelyn and the medical team fought tirelessly. The clock ticked slowly. In a brief moment between tense tasks, Evelyn stepped outside for some air. She looked over the fence and saw Leo still there, silent and determined. That image gave her strength. They were not just fighting for a ranger, but for a deep bond that the wild world had witnessed. Finally, after hours of tension, Kai's heart rate and vitals stabilized. He had overcome the critical danger. Evelyn stood by the bedside, watching Kai begin to stir. The most crucial moment was approaching, and she knew his first words would be the key to the entire mystery. Evelyn stood by the bed, the dim light in the room highlighting the fatigue on her face, but her eyes shone with hope. Ranger Kai slowly opened his eyes, his gaze still hazy. Evelyn gently touched his arm, reassuring him. You're okay, Kai. You're past the critical stage. But Kai's first question was not about his own health. His voice was weak, raspy. Is he all right? The one who found me. Leo. Evelyn was stunned. You know the lion's name? Kai nodded slightly. He began to recount the story from many years ago. He had found Leo as a cub, severely injured and caught in a steel snare set by poachers. Despite knowing that intervening with a wild animal was incredibly dangerous and could lead to disciplinary action, Kai risked his life and career. With trembling hands, he cut the steel wire, bandaged Leo's wounds, and spent many days and nights watching over him from afar until the cub was strong enough to return to the wild. Kai had always thought the story ended there. I never thought he would remember, Kai whispered, tears rolling down his temples. But the wild never forgets kindness. That moment was the answer. Leo was not a wild animal acting randomly. He was a protector repaying a debt. To complete the connection, Evelyn and the team gently wheeled Kai's hospital bed close to the clinic door, right beside the fence. Kai saw Leo. The lion was still there, waiting tirelessly. As their eyes met, a sacred silence enveloped him. Leo stood up, his bright golden eyes filled with deep satisfaction. Kai raised his weak hand. Thank you, my protector. In response, Leo slowly bowed his head, his duty fulfilled. There was no growl, no pouncing, just a gesture of profound respect and gratitude. Then, he turned his back, slowly and majestically, and strode back towards the savannah. The mission was complete, the debt repaid. But nature and the world itself remembers. The story of Leo and Kai is not about a medical rescue. It's about a reflection. Ranger Kai's compassion became Leo's memory, and that memory saved his life. If the story of Leo and Kai has touched your heart, please share it. Kindness is a language the whole world understands. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more emotionally resonant stories. Remember, even kings kneel when love triumphs over pride.